Catch all the action with the pregame show Sunday afternoon at 12:30.
Lorenzen leaps into the arms of Real Muto.
The Phillies, Sunday afternoon at 12:30 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Investor Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhaus, CEO of Investor Schooling.
All right, good morning and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Investor Schooling Live is transmitting from the Investor Schooling Studios right here in the Investor Schooling headquarters. I am Larry Steinhaus. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. I want to thank you all for listening. Get ready to learn real estate investing, stock options trading, and so many more things about money that I bet you didn't even know. Hey, you can call us anytime during the show with your questions. The phone number is 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Put it in your phone right now. Get ready to call. 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. We're a live program. You can call anytime during the show. We'll take your calls. Don't worry about the topic. We'll take your call about anything that has to do with money, finances, or even sometimes politics. We're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, and you can leave comments there as well. If you're watching online, please say hi. It's the only way I know you're watching is when you make a comment. At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money and taxes, how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. My favorite thing to do. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown bypass, serving the New Jersey and greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar building. And our students are also located in several states with our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. Get ready to learn something new. Get ready to learn the business of entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and stock options trading from your friendly neighborhood financial expert. That's me, Larry Steinhaus. All right, I'm here. Dr. Deb is out today. Dr. Deb is in Cabo. You believe that, Omri?
I do.
And I'm here with Omri. Omri, you might want to move your microphone just a little bit closer to your mouth. So you don't have to move yourself. You can move the microphone by the way.
I know.
It's on a boom.
I know.
I don't know if you know how that works.
Do you hear me well?
He's staring at it to make sure that it works. So Deb is in Cabo.
Where's Deb?
She's in Cabo.
She's in Cabo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's on vacation. One of her friends called her up and said, this is wild, right? One of her friends called her up and said, listen, I want to spend some time with you. I want to learn all the things you know about, real estate investing and tax liens and stuff. And my joke is I always, when somebody says that, they say, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? And I say, yeah, you have to fly me to Paris. Yeah. You have to put me up in a hotel. You have to pick a coffee shop there, and you can have an hour of my time.
I want to hear the cappuccino machine works.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. So the funny part was this actually happened.
For her.
Somebody said, hey, I'll take you to Cabo, and I'll spend a week with you, and I'll pick your brain. And she's like, okay. So she's in Cabo with a friend, which is hysterical. It's absolutely hysterical.
The amount of time this week I heard the word Cabo.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We kept saying Cabo.
Kept saying Cabo. Yeah, exactly. It's really, really funny.
From jealousy. So jealousy.
I know. And she's so what happens now? So what do we do? So by the way, if anybody wants to call and pick my brain, they could take me to Cabo. They could take me to Paris. Where else?
Yeah.
Israel?
No, you don't want to go to Israel right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Germany, I would go.
So that's interesting that a Jew would go to Germany before he would go to Israel. Now, I mean, that's just, I'm just making a statement of the times of what's going on right now, which is absolutely amazing. You're right.
Things change.
How things have changed,
I think things change massively. You know that in the past, the prime minister and all the ministers in the government, they weren't allowed to pick a German car.
Really?
To use as their car.
Wow.
And now all the government cars are German.
Well, you know, it's funny. Right now, there aren't any cars that aren't German. The parts are made Germany, parts are made in Japan, parts are made everywhere. You can't even. But your favorite car is a Porsche, right?
I do. I like the Germans.
Yeah, but you have a Tesla now, don't you?
They know how to. Yeah, I do.
And you love that car, don't you?
Sometimes, some days. Some days I love it. Some days it annoys me very, very much. So we drive a lot. You know, we drive a lot.
We drive a lot. Yeah.
The family, we drive a lot.
By the way, your number one fan.
Yeah, Kimi is with us.
Kimi, and she's saying hi.
We love Kimi.
And if anybody else is online, please say hi. I know we're at a different time. By the way, I wanted to rant about that. I wanted to rant about the fact that we're on at 10 o'clock again. Now, every single year this happens where the games are on PHT, and they put us to 10 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock because the games are on. I hate it, but I could certainly understand it. They have, they obviously make a lot more money from the games than they make from this, little minuscule show, right?
And I must adore Kimi that she's still with us at 10 a.m.
Yeah, right. But what did they do? You know when they told me I was on at 10 o'clock?
At 9 o'clock.
Last night. Yeah, exactly.
It's
I'm like,
ridiculous.
All of a sudden I get a text message that, John Cole, our producer today, that John Cole will, and the message was like, John Cole will be your producer at 10 o'clock. I'm like, 10 o'clock? We're on at 2 o'clock. And I texted back, we're on at 2 o'clock. Not 10 o'clock. Oh, no, there's a game tomorrow. Well, how about telling me?
Yeah, exactly. A bit in advance. Yeah, so I don't need
had
to
to
cancel
juggle my
plans.
entire morning schedule around this, right? I'm supposed to be on a webinar. I'm supposed to be promoting something in a webinar that I can't promote right now, so I could be with you guys. So I hope you guys appreciate it. And the worst part is our normal listeners at 2 o'clock are still sleeping, and they're not even paying attention to it anyway. So if you've never heard this show before, we are Investor Schooling Live. We talk about money. We talk about finances. And
Real
anything
estate.
else I want to talk about because it's my show.
Good. That's
Right?
how it needs to be in life.
This is my hour. I do whatever I want with it.
Welcome to capitalism.
Exactly. So I want to talk to you, though, about a property that you and I are trying to buy together.
Yes.
And the fight that we had the other day.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun. So Ami and I are attempting, and at this point it's attempting once again, to buy a 23-unit apartment building, which is it's a nice unit. We've done the math, and the math works pretty well. And, the guy was asking, well, he's like, Ami thinks the math isn't that great. I think the math is just enough where I think it's worth it to own it, hold it, and then maybe sell it or raise the rents or whatever it may be. But let's get into a little bit of the conversation that we had, how this whole thing happened. So, we were told about it. You went to see it because I was too busy. You came back. You reported on it. You said it was good. And there's a real estate agent involved. So once you have a real estate agent involved, it's like, it's a mess. Then you have to have a real estate agent who...
The bureaucracy is,
everything I do is exactly by the book. So, and what I mean by that is he follows a complete pattern on what he does. Where
every time.
Normally, where normally I would call up the seller, hey, this is my offer. Do you want it? Yes, no. He goes, yes. I go, okay. If it's no, we negotiate. And we just put it on paper.
And I believe that in this method, we make more deals than others.
Well, the way I do it,
I got
direct. People calling me, I'm buying houses all the time.
Why do you want me to fill up the forms and do all that if you are not even going to accept my offer? If there is too much distance between us, tell me from the beginning, no. And here we have all the terms from the beginning about how are you going to buy it and what's the deposit and are you going to buy it as is and all the questions.
Right, and it's like, but the guy's just going.
But
like, listen, here's my offer.
Yeah.
If the guy takes it, fine, let's go.
And there's still distance.
So the guy was asking 1.6 and 1.69. I can't remember. 1.65.
Yeah.
So we offered 1.35 because we thought that
we started at 1.3.
Well, that's right. We were 1.3, right?
Yeah.
We started at 1.3 because I knew that he was going to come up a little bit. I figured, we get a counter offer and let's go. So the guy comes back at 1.6, but in the meantime, he makes us send a letter of intent with some vague terms, and it was so obnoxious to me because I don't do business that way. I simply do business. The way I do business is simply the same way. I simply make sure that I'm buying the property at what I want to buy it for, when I want to buy it, and how I want to buy it. And these are the terms. And we can discuss the terms, and we can discuss whatever it is.
And I want to shake your hand.
Right. And shake your hand, exactly. I shake your hand, the deal's done, and let's just put it on paper just so we can push it through the title company.
I know.
So this guy just continues on and on and on about everything. What's the deposit? What is the due diligence? Blah, 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 blah. What's the difference? Put it in paper. We'll work it all out. Well, why don't we just talk to the seller? We'll discuss it all. We'll discuss all of it right out. So we're not
used to do deals like that. I mean, we're not used to work with realtors on a daily basis.
The people who he's doing business with are amateurs. They're people who I've never bought a building before. I better make sure. Or they're super anal professionals. You know what I mean? Because that's what this guy is. He's a super anal real estate agent, and he drove me crazy every single conversation we've had with this guy.
I'm okay. I love him, and he's great.
I know you're much more patient than I am.
I am more patient. I understand what it goes, and I'm willing to pay the time for all this bureaucracy if I will make a deal here.
Right.
Every time I want to talk about something regarding this building. So this is a 23-unit building, and all of it is occupied.
Yeah, I know. It's a great building.
All of it is occupied extremely under market value.
Exactly, I agree.
Extremely under market value.
Right.
My experience, and I think we talked about this before, what's your experience when you buy a house with a tenant inside? How many of your properties today do you have that the tenant that you bought the house with is still inside?
One at this point.
I think so. Me too. Only one.
And they are my most problem tenant.
I know.
But I have very few problems. So just understand, even with them, I have very few problems. This is the tenant that I did file for eviction, but they paid me before the court hearing. But I only did it to let them know that I would.
It's Delaware County, right? It's
what?
The one that we just been in Delaware County.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, there was one, right. I mean, I've got a couple, but yeah.
So
I
that's
know
the
which one's
problem.
right. Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time I can't figure out why is it like that. Every time we buy a house with a tenant inside, and sometimes it's not a problematic tenant. Sometimes it's a great tenant.
Right.
And immediately when the ownership change, there is a problem, and the tenant develop an attitude, and sometimes they don't pay,
Right.
or sometimes they decide that they know everything, and you need to fix this and that and that, and they want a new house. Every time it's something new.
Yeah, so we're going to have 23 problem tenants is what you're saying.
I believe so.
So you may be right, you may be wrong. It's okay. I'm willing to deal with it. Plus, the rents are low. We'll just say bye-bye, go move out, and we'll put somebody else in there at almost twice the price.
Let's talk about the rents. There are one-bedroom apartments there right now. It's Delaware County. It's not Chester, it's Delaware County. There are one-bedroom apartments there that are being rented for $550.
That's ridiculous.
What
Nobody
can
rents
you
a apartment
rent
for
right
$550.
now for $550?
What can you rent? You can
Yeah.
rent a bedroom.
A garage?
A bedroom from a friend.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
It's ridiculous. So you come to a person that to them, it's reasonable. They are paying that for years, $550. And you tell them, it's going to be $750.
Yeah.
Which is still under market value. Extremely under market value, I believe. And you need to tell them, this is a very good deal. Look outside. Look at the prices outside. But they don't care. And then what? They will go?
They
Where
won't
would
go. They'll begrudgingly pay the increase. But hold on a second. I just want to let everybody else know that this is Investor Schooling Live. I'm Larry Steinhaus. I'm here with Omri Murad, who is our other co-host, I guess. Dr.
Yeah.
Deb is out today. But I want to let you guys know you can call in. If you have questions about this, how to make deals, or anything else related to real estate, stock options, the money, it doesn't matter. 855-939-1137 is our phone number. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Go ahead, Omri.
855-939-1137. So if you have an accent like me, now you know what's the number. It's 855-939-1137.
Okay, so all the women out there listening to the show,
Yeah.
I want you to call in now and say whose voice is sexier.
Oh. You're winning. I have no choice.
I gotta tell you, man, just the way you said that, I was so turned on.
Oh my God.
So I figured that I put
I'm
it out
happy
there.
I'm from the other side of the table.
Yeah, it's a good thing you are on the other side of the table. All right, 855-939-1137 is our number. So we're talking about this building that we're trying to buy. And so anyway, so where I was in the story, we put the offer at 1.35.
We put 1.3.
1.3.
Yeah, he wanted 165.
He came back at 1.6, right? And it was like, come on, he's not even moving. So then we came back at 1.45, and I'm telling Omri, look, we might do some kind of seller financing with this. So I said, Omri, just get the price. And then all of a sudden, I call Omri, talking to the agent, and he says, well, we'll only do it with seller financing. I'm like, no, don't talk about seller financing yet.
I didn't. I said to him, we want to sit with the seller.
Right.
We want to figure out what the term around the table with the seller. It's not a normal purchase. It's a big purchase.
Yeah, sure.
So we need to figure out what he wants, because you need to understand, because the rents are low, because on a multi-unit family, expenses are very high. You pay high on insurance, you pay high on taxes. Everything is high. You don't have much margin here if you are going to do any kind of finance. So in order to earn something at the end of every month, at the end of the year, if you want to earn something, you need to figure out how much is your monthly payments.
I got that, and I agree with
Yeah.
you 100%. But what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to negotiate seller financing, and I can't negotiate seller financing until I have a price.
Until I agree.
So you started going to the seller financing, and that was the funniest thing, because it was like 15 minutes before class. Students are starting to walk in,
Yeah.
and we're in the office. We're talking to this agent, and I yell at you, And all the students in the class hear me yelling at you, the people who walk
I
in.
know.
Debbie comes in, shuts both doors of my office, and says, "Quiet! There's students out there." I'm like, "Oh no!" And then right, so then we finally get the agent on the phone. We talk about it, and I said, "Look, we want to buy the building. Do you want to help us or not?" And finally, and as he keeps going on with his real estate
About
BS,
the diligence.
and as Omri's hanging up, I say, "That guy's an idiot," and then he hits the end button, and he called him back. But hold on, we got Bill. We got Bill from New Jersey. What's going on, Bill?
Hey, Bill, I've got an IRA, and I'm trying to decide whether to, and I want to reduce the tax exposure.
Okay.
Which is the best road?
Wow.
Roth?
I love it. I love it when people call me up with a direct question, and I know nothing about anything of their situation. But so let me just ask you a couple of questions, and if you don't feel comfortable on the phone, that's okay. But how much is in this IRA?
Over 500,000.
Okay, and how old are you?
80. I'll be 84.
Okay.
In November.
So at this point, you're taking required minimum distributions, correct?
Oh, for such a long time.
Yeah, I know, right? I hope you were, because if you weren't, you'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
So there isn't. I mean, you could convert it to a Roth IRA, but why bother? And I don't mean this to be cold, but you've only got a certain amount more time on the planet, and you got a lot of money in this IRA, and you didn't do it right 50 years ago. You're certainly not going to fix it now. So my actual suggestion is to not change it. However, if you're taking RMDs, the investments you're in are the wrong ones. That I know, because what you can do if you wanted to, and what I'm going to guess. Let's see, and you didn't give me the exact number, but let me give you a number about $1 million. About $1 million, your RMDs are about $80,000 a year. You could actually lend somebody that money out of your IRA, and they would pay an interest rate of, let's say, 8%, which, by the way, would be $80,000 if it was $1 million, would pay you an interest rate of 8%, and you could just take that interest-only payment as your RMD, and this way your IRA never goes down in value. It is one of the greatest ways to, let's say, screw the government out of their RMDs is by lending your IRA money to a real estate investor. Now, you have to understand how to do this right, because you don't want to get, you don't want your IRA to get to disappear by an unscrupulous real estate investor. You need to know what you're doing and how to do it. But it's the greatest way to do it ever. I have shown people this, and it's funny because they come to class, people come to class for all different reasons, and one of them is that they have all this money in IRAs. And we teach them how to lend to real estate investors at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%, depending on the deal, how to evaluate the deal, and how to make sure that if the person doesn't pay you, you actually make more money if they don't pay you. So we actually work that out too. So I don't know where your investments are, but if you want a fixed 8%, well, I shouldn't say fixed 8%. It could be fixed 7, it could be whatever. But if you know a real estate investor who's looking for money, and they're a good real estate investor, and they have a good product, and if you wanted to run it by me, I'd be more than happy to help you with it to find out if it's a good product or if it's a good investment. And you cannot lose if you do it the right way. That was a surprise answer, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It's amazing.
Yes, it was.
It's amazing how easy it is to fix this problem. I borrow from people's. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago we had Carl Fisher from Camaplan. We borrow from IRAs all the time. It is one of the greatest investments in an IRA is to lend to a real estate investor or even buy real estate. Some people don't want to own real estate. Owning real estate in an IRA is fantastic too. But if you don't want to own real estate, lending to a real estate investor is phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what your investments are in. But let me ask you it's an example. I want to make sure that I'm not the audience knows I'm not soliciting your money, because I'm not. I'm just giving you an example. But how would you feel if you were to make, and again, if you had even if you had $500,000, if you were to make $40,000 guaranteed every year out of that money?
Would that be taxable money?
It is taxable only because you have to put it into your IRA and take it back out. So it's actually not taxable, but the money you're taking out of the IRA becomes taxable. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, I do. Exactly. It's an RMD.
Yeah, right, because the RMD, right. Right, but your investment never goes down. So your $500,000 stays at $500,000 always, and your RMDs are paid by the person you're investing with. So with $40,000 on your money guaranteed every year, would that make sense to you?
Well, yes, it would. because I was thinking about metals, and there's no guaranteed income there.
Right.
And Roth, I'm paying that RMD one time.
Right. Well, yeah, basically. But I'm telling you, your age, I wouldn't convert it. I really wouldn't. It's just my opinion. And, of course, your tax advisor may have another opinion because your tax advisor probably doesn't have as much money as you. And you ever notice that tax advisors and accountants never have as much money as the investors that they're representing? And also your Fidelity guy or whoever your I shouldn't say Fidelity, but whoever your financial registered representative doesn't know anything about investing in real estate because, in fact, he's not even allowed to tell you about investing in real estate because it's against the SEC rules for him to tell you that there is a better investment than the one he has for you. Because if he tells you that, that's called selling away, and he gets fired, and he loses his license. It's amazing what the rules are. So even if you have a great investment out there, and your financial advisor tells you about that great investment, like investing in real estate or like lending to a real estate investor, he can't tell you because he loses his license. That's why you've never heard of it.
What if the guy I'm thinking of would be in Arkansas?
What's that?
What if the guy I'm thinking about would be in Arkansas? He's my property manager for a unit I have in Arkansas.
So you have properties now?
I have one.
Okay, so I mean, that certainly could be somebody. You're talking about lending money to him?
Well, if he was interested.
Yeah, so I would. Yeah, but just make sure you know how to evaluate the deal. That's all, and that's all. If you know how to evaluate the deal, and you know how to make sure that like I said, the best thing that can happen to you is he doesn't pay. Because if he doesn't pay, if you made more money for him not paying, because the property value was worth a whole lot more, it would be a great thing. Like for example, like there's one property that I'm buying right now. So I would need. It's funny because there's a property that I'm buying that's $1 million. It's worth $1 million, and all I need is $300,000 in a first position loan. So you know what that means? That means if you or anyone was to lend me $300,000 on this property, and I gave them 8%, the interesting part was if I didn't pay, you now get $1 million property because I didn't pay. Get it?
That sounds nice. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly right. That's why I tell people, if you do it right, you can't lose. All right, Bill, you should come visit us, or we'll call into the school during the week, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you some more. But you should definitely come visit us.
Well, I'm in New Jersey, and so I don't drive across the river.
Okay, well we do have Zoom classes. I realize you're 88.
Okay.
Do you know how to use Zoom?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. So go to
Yes,
investorschooling.com, and you could sign up for class there for this Thursday. And you'll learn a bunch of different things about money. You'll learn about what we just talked about, and of course, we could talk in the future about this or other things if you'd like.
Okay. Well,
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you very much, Larry.
I appreciate the call, man, and keep on ticking, man. I love it.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. All right, Omri. So where are we now?
I want to be so bright when I will be 88.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I want to be so bright.
I know. I'm a lot closer than you to 88.
Not so much.
Well, I'm a lot closer than you to 88. I mean,
You're getting closer because you buy the.
You're getting closer too, but
you buy the old people
you
car.
can't catch up to me until I buy the old people's car. I know. My Jaguar. My Jaguar started stalling now.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, it started stalling.
It
All of a
worked
sudden-
so beautifully.
I know. All of a sudden, it started stalling. So I don't know what the story is with that. Anyway, so getting back to this building, so the 1.6 bill, right? Bill?
Yeah,
So,
let's
and matter
just
of fact, Bill, right? So Bill, if he had $1 million, he'd lend us $1 million on this building. We'd give him $80,000 a year. That would be his RMD. We'd be happy because we'd have our building. We'd be making our income,
Of course.
and he'd be making his income. And
Maybe
if
he
lends
would
$1
make a
million
building,
on
yeah.
1.6. What happens if we default? He's really, really happy because
He have a lot of
he
things
has,
to
he
give
has
to
a lot
his
of
child.
equity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He
Right.
has a great will.
So this is how you talk to real estate investors. I'm not real estate investors. This is how you talk to people with money. If you're a real estate investor and you want to borrow money from them, because the absolute annoying and worst place to get money from is a bank. Ugh,
Oh my God.
they're the worst. Banks are such a problem when it comes to getting money. They make it so difficult for you. They want your firstborn.
That's why
Actually, if they give you your firstborn, it'll be easier.
it's amazing how many people we know that recently left the bank, even for the checking account,
Right.
and went to a credit union.
Well, credit union too, but that's much better than a bank. I agree. But the whole point of borrowing money from a bank, I mean, come on, it's so difficult and so ridiculous.
Impossible.
And, but if I borrow money from a human, from another person, it's a handshake deal.
Exactly.
Hey, Bill, give me $1 million. I'll give you 8%. We shake hands now. There's paperwork
Of
behind
course,
it,
we do
but
sign
the
it.
agreement is a handshake. So in other words, he's giving me no money yet. I've taken no money yet, and the handshake. But when we go to closing, he gets a mortgage, he gets a promissory note, and he gets a confession of judgment. And this is another thing that's really interesting too, is the confession of judgment is really, really important, because what the confession of judgment says that if I don't pay, then what happens is the property automatically gets transferred over to the lender's name. So there's no foreclosure.
No.
So and this is the paperwork that we provided to school. Actually, we have samples of this paperwork that we provided to school, and it's great stuff because we want to protect our lenders. When I'm borrowing money from a lender, I want to protect them more than I want to protect me, because you know why? You don't want to know why?
Talk to me.
Because if they have more money, I want to borrow that too.
Of course.
So if I show them how I protect their money and eventually I pay them back and I want to borrow the money back, I have lenders that they get mad when I pay them back. They really do. They get mad. What do you mean you're paying me back? I'm like, all right, I'll find another investment for you, I promise. They get mad because they've been getting this 8% guaranteed money for all this time, for 2.5, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is.
Take more.
And then and then all of a
Take
sudden,
more.
and all of a sudden they're angry because I'm not paying them for their money for a little while. So these are all great things you can do. All right, so let's do this.
855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Please call us with any question you have about financial advice, real estate, stock option. We still do politics?
I don't care.
Yeah,
If they want
we
to
can
talk
do that
politics,
too.
they can.
We can.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm seeing my buddy Trump next Thursday in
Good.
Philadelphia.
Again?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. How Trump feels about being in Philadelphia?
Oh, you know what he says? He says bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Remember
every
that
day.
in the debate? It was a great statement. He goes, "Bad things happen in Philadelphia," and he's so true. He's so right. And the worst thing that's happened in Philadelphia is Philadelphians. All right, sorry, I just insulted everybody in Philadelphia. But
No, you didn't.
wait, hold on. We're gonna take a break, aren't
Okay.
we? So, John, take us out. We'll be back in just about 2 minutes. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you afraid of the Great Reset?
Clear.
That won't apply to those who own real assets. At Investor Schooling, we teach you how to own real assets like real estate, gold, silver, and other investments, including stocks, stock options, and even the basics of cryptocurrency. We even teach you how to pay thousands less in taxes legally. So go to investorschooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus, and you have probably heard my radio shows and listened to my great advice on how you can make more money and pay less taxes. Well, I just finished writing a book on all things I teach at Investor Schooling and on my radio shows. This book is called
Are you playing for any other breaks this hour? Or is this probably the only commercial break, right?
Yeah, it's only break, yeah.
Books are sold
Cool, just making sure.
By Larry Steinhaus. Hey, it might even be a tax deduction. Order Money Hacks by Larry Steinhaus wherever books are sold, and come see me at Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of being broke? If you're tired of being broke, go to investorschooling.com, sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. That's right. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. And if you have any questions, you can call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Go to investorschooling.com, sign up for this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. Investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus from Investor School.
All right, we're back in 1 minute.
All right.
And again, the out will be 59.
You got it, man. Thanks.
Property.
Thank you.
Doubled my money, and what I did, I invested into another property and then closed on a refi, and I wrote myself a check out for $118,000.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. And if you want to find out more about Investor Schooling, go to investorschooling.com, and we will see you Thursday night, and we will help you any way we can. This is Larry Steinhaus with
30 seconds.
opportunity to retire with a great big real estate portfolio is coming quickly, and you want to learn how to do it. We all know the downturn is around the corner. What does that mean to you? You need to learn how to take advantage of this opportunity, like how to buy discounted properties with absolutely no money out of your pocket. Can it be done? Yes, it can.
10 seconds.
How to do it? Yes, you can. Go to investorschooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. Investorschooling.com. I always dig this music that they play. It's great stuff, right? All right, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhaus. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. I am here with my companion, Ami Murad, he's just a great guy, and he's got that voice. Say the phone number again.
855-939-1137. It's 855-939-1137.
Wow. I bet you that every woman in their car just stepped on their
crashed
brakes.
into the...
Yeah, exactly. All right, so if you want to call in, 855-939-1137. We're taking questions about anything that has to do with real estate. We just had a great question from Bill in West Deptford, New Jersey, about IRAs and RMDs. Great question, actually. It's one of my absolute favorite topics is how to screw the government out of their own money.
Not screwed. Use.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, use.
Use the government's money that you're supposed to be giving to them?
Yeah, I don't know. Use every benefit that the government let us.
Look, here's the deal. There's a tax code, and it's thousands and thousands of pages, right?
I agree.
And the tax code is written for the rich people, right? And guess who the rich people are right now?
The government.
No, you and I.
Depends. We don't have the printer yet. They have the printer.
Well, they have the printer, but we know how. But we know how to use the tax code to our advantage.
Of course.
And that's what we teach. That's another thing that we teach in investor schooling. But some of the things are so simple, like we were talking with Bill, which is lending money to a real estate investor to pay your RMDs. It is such a simple way. I mean, people come to me all the time, like, "Hey, I got these RMDs. What do I do?" And I explain to them, lend it to a real estate investor. Sometimes lend it to me, and lend it to a real estate investor. And sure enough, they love it. They think it's such a great idea. And it's funny because their financial advisor, their registered rep, their fiduciary. Don't say it. Their fiduciary, right?
Don't say it.
It's a word. So fiduciary reminds me of a word that we're not allowed to say on the radio.
We're not allowed to say.
And you can think about what it is, but actually, I think that's a perfect word for what a fiduciary really is.
What's the name?
Fiduciary.
Okay, we can say
you know
the
what
word.
I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a perfect word for what they really are because, and I have to be honest with you, the people who are fiduciaries or registered reps, they're not bad people. But the FCC law makes them liars.
It's exactly the same thing you feel about realtors. They're not bad people. They just follow protocols.
No. Realtors, the problem with realtors is they think they know everything about real estate. And I'm going to tell you that the second you go to real estate school, you learn less than reality.
I agree, because what they learn is only bureaucracy.
Yeah, right. So, and then
Everything
they
they learn
think
is
that everything
bureaucracy.
right. They think that everything they know is correct, and everything they know is absolutely wrong. And, as a matter of fact, we have the hardest. You know, the hardest people to teach how to be real estate investors.
Oh my God, you are
Realtors.
completely right. Realtors.
Yeah.
How can it be? It's against everything I knew until this point.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
we know.
You know, I could buy. Right. I say I buy a house and I get money back. How can you do that? There's no bank in the world that will do that. You're absolutely right. There is no bank in the world.
We
that will
are
do that.
having a success story in the school recently. Okay, with a
Oh,
guy
with the
that
guy,
is
yeah, with
buying
Mitch.
a
Yeah,
bowling alley.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And if you remember, the beginning with
Yep.
Mitch was hard.
Yes.
In the mastermind,
Yeah.
he had hard time to understand like the logic
That's
here.
right.
And then he did it and see how successful he is.
Right. So real quick, to give this story that Army's alluding to, we had a realtor come in and he was like, yeah, he was listening to us, but he would argue constantly. We say we borrow more money than the property's worth. You know, that the net price is worth than the property we're buying it for, because the property's always worth a lot more than we're buying it for, or the lender wouldn't give us the money. But he's like, well, how you can only get 80% from a bank? I'm like, we don't bother with banks. Yeah, but blah 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 blah, and he would just keep making excuses. So he comes across a building which is a bowling alley, which is the building and the bowling alley business.
And it's a brand new
Oh, it's
bowling
absolutely
alley.
gorgeous.
It's
Yeah.
new.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Never been used.
Right.
Brand new.
Right. So the old owner built the whole thing, and then something happened health-wise. He had to sell it. He gets this deal, which is a great deal, and we help him find all the money for it. Not a part of it was from a bank, if I remember. I think half of it was from a bank, and the other half was from private investors. But out of pocket, he took nothing out of his pocket to buy this thing, and now he owns a bowling alley. And then we had another two students who bought restaurants, right?
Yes.
They bought restaurants, and same thing. They actually were so excited that when they bought this restaurant, they actually got a check for $8,000 at closing to go buy whatever
Materials.
food they need, materials,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah, exactly.
food, right? So to sell to restaurants. So it's amazing. They're like wow. When we first came here, we didn't believe it, but now they are true believers.
I think that's the problem. Once people come here and they figure out how to do everything with so little bureaucracy, they bang their head through the wall and say, how didn't I do it? Why wasn't I aware that this exists?
Yes, absolutely. And then the other thing too that's happening is we have people saying, here's the funniest thing that I hear people say all the time. How could you buy houses in this real estate market? Prices are so high. And you know what's happening, Omri? I'm getting more. I'm closing on more deals in this month than I think I closed all the rest of the year. Because it's amazing how many deals are coming through right now because people think the prices are high and they're not. People have raised rents on buildings and made it worth it really well. Like this 23-unit apartment building that we're buying, we know that the rents are low. And that's the only reason we're buying this building is that the rents are ridiculously low.
Of course.
I mean, if we had $200 a month rent to every single person, that's $4,800.
I'm whining to you for half a year now about my last purchase.
Right.
Like crazy.
Right.
And now it's done and the tenant is inside and I looked at the number and I said, why I assume it's a bad deal?
Right.
Why I assume yes, I spent more than I believed.
But it's still a great deal.
After everything, I'm still getting 2% a month.
Right.
Where can you get 2% a month in this world? You can't.
Right, exactly, right.
You just can't.
Right.
Which is amazing.
On other people's money.
Yeah.
Which is amazing too.
Can we talk about bureaucracy?
I know you love bureaucracy.
I know how to deal with bureaucracy. I don't love bureaucracy. Let me tell you a story.
Hold on 1 second. Before you do that, 855-939-1137. This is Larry Steinhaus. This is Investor Schooling Live. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and you can take a complimentary class at
Investor Schooling Live.
No, investorschooling.com. You can take a complimentary class at
investorschooling.com.
That's it, exactly. What's the phone number?
855-939-1137.
And that is the phone number. So if you want to call in and ask us any questions, you can get some free advice right now.
I think you bought every domain at Investor Schooling. I was pretty sure we have
I know, really.
all of them. So let's talk. This last property that I purchased it, I think, on January. And I had problem to get water. The property was abandoned for many, many years. And I had problem to get water to the building because the valve on the street, on the curb, was broken. So it took me a month. American Water came. They broke the curb. They replaced the valve. And everything went well. We continued the renovation. There are tenants inside. But when they fixed the curb, it was the winter. They didn't put cement. They put blacktop. They put asphalt on the curb just to close the dirt. And they said, we will come in the summer and we'll do the cement. Last week, American Water came. It's not American Water. It's American Water contractor came to do the cement. Right. So they took the blacktop. They put the cement. And this week I get a call from the tenant saying that the sewer is backing up. Now, every time before a new tenant comes in, I snake the system.
You snake it or you check it with a camera?
No, I snake it.
Okay.
I snake. It's a courtesy thing. I think it's nice.
You know
exactly.
Yeah.
If the tenant come and after a month and the whole system filled with baby wipes, no, it's not us. Yes, it's you I know. Exactly. We know that. So, two plumbers are there. Two plumbers arrive, one after another, and both of them find cement in the sewer trap. So the sewer trap filled with cement. So I'm dealing with this bureaucracy craziness for 2 days now, and now it transferred to American Water's insurance. They have their own insurance policy with one of the biggest insurance companies. So somebody will take responsibility. And as I'm sitting right now here with you, there is a crew that is breaking the concrete in the street and is digging down to replace this old trap and everything because it's all full of cement. People think that to be a landlord is easy, right? You sit, you talk on the radio, right? You enjoy the comfort of your sofa. No, guys.
That's what I do.
There is headache. There is, and there are things that you need to deal with, and there is bureaucracy.
So the things that you're talking about, like the sewer pipe being filled with cement because American Water came in, it's so unusual.
It's crazy.
But here's the interesting thing, because we've been talking about this for a couple of days now. The sewer pipe thing. The only way that cement could have gotten in there is one of two things. When they dug up the original dig up, they broke the pipe.
I
And
believe,
if
yeah.
they broke the pipe, and then the cement was able to work its way in there. Now, if they broke the pipe, then the whole time that you've been going before they put the cement in, that pipe's been leaking, and the waste has been going into the soil.
So there is a lot of soil on the line between the trap on the curb and the street,
Right.
on the main on the street.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And I talked to the guy that is doing the job right now. I know him from years. He's doing a lot of job for me, a lot of plumbing job for me in the city. And he say, you don't know how many cases I have that they come here with a backhoe, with like heavy equipment,
Right.
right? This is a road, car pass every day. But how many times you have that you bring a backhoe and it sits just on the pipe, just on the road above the pipe.
Right.
And then when the backhoe go, they bring a cement truck. And the cement truck that weight how much? 10 tons or
Yeah,
more?
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It also park itself directly on the pipe because they shovel the cement out. All those things happen, and then the line breaks. So I don't know what will go
Yeah,
on
could
with
be.
that, and
Could
it's
be.
a massive
But
repair.
either way, you have to fix it. So this is the other thing about real estate. You have to be prepared mentally. Financially is one thing, but mentally for something like this.
Every day.
Where now you have it's a $7,000 repair, $9,000 repair. Right now, look, Army's gonna. American Water is being. They're being pretty cooperative, and they're saying that they may actually pay,
Yeah, we don't know yet.
But the reality is he has to fix this, because if he doesn't fix it, then he's got a tenant living in an uninhabitable place. And that's
Unacceptable.
not fair to the tenant. That's not, it happens to be illegal, but it's not fair to the tenant either. So I had the opposite happen, where the water pipe leading to the house broke. So this was a wild one. There was water on the street apparently, and one of the neighbors called up and said, hey, there's water in the street, something's going on. And they traced it to my house that I'm renting to somebody, and there's the water meter in front of the house, and from the water meter to the house, you own that pipe.
Yeah.
And that pipe broke. Now, it happened. I mean, it's an old house, and it happened. So I called a contractor. I said, hey, you got to fix this as soon as possible. Well, between permits, which blew my mind, that between permits with the county and getting the guy out there and actually, getting all the people, it's about a 2-week process. So remember, American Water now, I'm not American Water, you're American Water, but the water company turned the water off to the house because the pipe is broken. So now
those
I have
people
tenants living in a house with
no water.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I said to them, I can't have this. I can't have people living in a house with no water. So I immediately said to the tenants, I said, if you want to go, go. I said, your lease is fine. I will give you your full security back. Just go. Because that's the right thing to do.
I know,
how
of
could they
course.
live there? So you know what they did? This was the best. They actually hooked a garden. They spoke to the neighbor next door. They hooked a garden hose up to his spigot, and they ran the water, and they reverse fed the water back into the house, and they were able to take a shower and flush the toilets. And I said, thank you so
That's
much.
genius.
And I told the guy, I said, look, whatever your water bill is that month, give me the bill. He actually never did.
Yeah.
But it was just really nice that they solved the problem like this. But at the same time, I didn't know what to do. They
so
fixed
great.
it. It was like, I think it was a $12,000 repair because they had to dig up the porch. They had to put the porch back together. But whatever, I didn't care. I just needed it fixed. But it's a very unusual thing. Both of these situations are very unusual. Most people are talking about their objections to owning real estate is what if your tenant calls you in the middle of the night and the toilet's overflowing? And my answer to that is right. I don't even answer the phone. My phone's on silent. From 9 o'clock to 6 in the morning, my phone's on silent. Tenant calls me. What can they possibly call me about that's an emergency? The house is on fire? What's the difference? I'm not the fire department.
Yeah.
Let
Call
me hear about
911.
it. Let me enjoy my night's sleep. In the morning, I'll find out my house burned down. I can't do anything. And if the toilet's overflowing, look, if you don't know to turn the water off when your toilet's overflowing or use a plunger, there's nothing I can do for you.
My point is we care. We care because we care about the people that live in our houses.
Yeah, absolutely.
We care about, I just had a discussion with one of my tenants in Delaware County, and I increased her at $50, and she didn't like it too much. She said it's too much, and it's too hard on her, and she's a great tenant, and I love her, and we found a way to make it work. But she said, every time, I'm not living in the best house, I'm not living in the prettiest house, but every time somebody asks me, I tell that I have the best landlord.
Yeah, there you go.
And every time I have a problem, he do everything he can to help me immediately.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do.
That's always the right thing to do.
Remember, how would you like to be treated is how you should be treated by your landlord. Now, understand, if somebody's not paying, they're now treating me bad.
Of course.
So if somebody's not paying their rent, they're now treating me bad, so I treat them the way they ask to be treated.
We need to look at the things in a very old-fashioned way. It's called respect.
Yes.
We all forgot what respect, mutual respect is one to each other. And I think that's the problem that we are facing as a society right now. There is no respect between the people right now. I will tell you a story about this specific tenant. This specific tenant, I think it was it was more, maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago. It was a long time ago. And she had no hot water. She had no hot water in the house, and we couldn't figure out what's going on. I called the plumber. The plumber was there. They wanted to replace the whole water heater. Well, it was a headache, but in that time, at that point, we couldn't solve it in an hour or two. And it was, I think, 7, 8 at night, and I go to the shower, and my wife hear me scream from the shower. And she come in to the bathroom and said, "Why are you screaming in the shower?" I said, I'm doing a shower in cold water. I want to feel how it is to take a shower in cold. And she, "Are you mad? What's going on with you?" I said, "I want to feel it right now the way they feel it." That's how much I care. That's how much.
All right, I'm just gonna be really fair to you. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Okay.
And you say a lot of dumb things.
I know. I also do dumb things.
I've experienced cold showers when my water heater has broken, but that's that's just the way it is. I'm looking at a water heater. Sometimes it takes 2 days. You have to deal with it. It's just like if you own your own house and your water heater broke or your toilet overflowed. What do you do at 2 o'clock in the morning? Nothing. You turn the water off. You go back to sleep. And in the morning you use a tree. I guess I don't know.
If you're a man.
855-939-1137 is our phone number. 855-939-1137. I'm Larry Steinhaus. This is Investor Schooling Live. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and you can take a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn all about money. You will learn all about real estate. You'll learn all about stock options. You'll learn about the stock market. You'll even get to meet the sexiest voice in the radio, Omri Murad.
855-939-1137. It's 855.
Stop it. I got to take my headphones off.
939-1137.
All right. If you're watching online, don't forget to leave comments, say hi to us, and don't forget to call in 855-939-1137. All right.
Are you ready to get all the calls to your phone at 2 o'clock today? Between 2 and 3 today? Because you will get all the calls.
No, I won't, because they're playing. No. They will be playing the sports will be on today. I'm not sure what game it is, but there's a I think it's Penn State game today.
I'm just pretty sure that people will still start their power on the computer, turn the radio.
No. They do. So I get the calls. So when the show repeats, I get the calls on the next day. So we do the show on Saturday at 2 o'clock, and it repeats on Sunday at 3 o'clock. And then those calls go to my cell phone. So if somebody wants to, if somebody's calling the show, I can answer it and maybe answer their question. But I don't, I can't always do that either. But they won't call today because the number won't be announced.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, this show will be on again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. So this show right now is live at 10 o'clock on Saturday. Tomorrow it'll be on at 3 o'clock. I think. I'm pretty sure.
And then people call you again.
And then people call me at 3 o'clock, right? Okay. Exactly. I know that maybe we'll have the women call and saying how sexy your voice is, and and then that's it. We should have you do some investor schooling commercials.
Ooh, sure, why not?
Absolutely, but you got to do it in that deep voice that you did before.
Okay. No? Do you want to talk about
voice.
political?
Not that one. Not that. Okay, voice. Not that one. You got to do the deep voice.
Do you want to talk about political?
What do you want to talk about? Politics. What do you want? You want to talk about politics? Really?
I tell you what. We don't talk before the show.
I do that on
which
purpose,
is a great
right?
thing because that's the thing more interesting. And we talked right now about Delaware County, and I want to tell you something. There are, in my belief, so many bad things that is going on there, and I think it's all under the influence of Philadelphia. We talked about Philadelphia. We talked about
Philadelphia is like a cancer that grows into other counties.
It's so bad.
Yeah, you have the absolute worst things in Philadelphia for landlords, and then they grow into the other. It's like a cancer; it just grows into the other counties, like Montgomery and Delaware. It's just amazing.
It's not even politic. It's not even political opinions. It's how social should we be? How much people need to play Robin Hood on the back of you and me and other people that go by the rules and do it right. Why we pay the price for that? And I think that's what makes me very, very angry at so many cases here.
Because the people who get their votes are the people who take advantage of you and I, or people like us. Now, I've said this forever. I said there's two places in the world to invest. One's Philadelphia and one's everywhere else. I choose everywhere else. It'd be very hard for me to buy properties in Philadelphia. They'd have to be an incredible deal. They'd have to be an incredible deal. Like if it's $1 million, if I'm paying $100,000, I probably would buy it. But that's it, because it's at the point where Philadelphia is they're so obnoxious on how they do business that I don't really want to do business there. I mean, even if I can have all the money that I could possibly ever need, which is what we teach because we get it from outside sources, I have all the money I ever need. I still have resources like time and resources like mental resources. So why would I want to put anything in Philadelphia? When I buy every single property that's outside of Philadelphia in the entire world, then I'll go into Philadelphia and start buying properties. Until then, I have no interest in buying in Philadelphia because of the bureaucracy. You know, we had somebody, one of our students who bought in Philadelphia. Fred, exactly.
Yeah.
He bought in Philadelphia and this one happened to be, I think this was a 4-family house.
I think he was a Philadelphia expert back then.
Yeah, well, he called himself a Philadelphia expert.
He knew all the.
I think this was his 2-family house. It doesn't matter, but he rented it to somebody, and he did everything he thought he was supposed to do. He got the
rental
compatibility,
license, business license,
the suitability thing, and at the time, Philadelphia had a lead paint requirement. And here's the lead paint requirement that it was. The lead paint requirement was if there was a child under 6 living in the building, you had to test the paint for lead. You had to test for lead paint, right?
I think back then you only need to
if they were under 6.
Exactly, and you need to present them the results.
Right.
It doesn't mean you need to do something about it back then.
Well, whatever it was. So, and there's another form you have to fill out that says this building is more than 30 years old.
Yes.
And you have to fill out the lead paint disclosure and give them the guide in lead paint.
With the list.
So he did everything, but when they moved in, it was a couple moving in. They never told him they had a kid. So they move in, right? And they pay the security, they pay the first month and last month, and they never pay rent again. So Fred is like freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. He takes too long to start the eviction process, but he starts the eviction process. 4 months later, he goes to court going, yeah, I'm going to win. I can't wait to get rid of these tenants. And the judge says, not only are you not winning, but you have to give them their security back, their first month rent, and their last month rent because you never tested it for lead paint. Ha, 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 ha. I mean, this is devastating for a young real estate investor who just bought his first property or maybe his second property, and this is what he's done. He's at 22 years old. I mean, he did nothing wrong.
I want to make it very clear to the people that listen. Larry just did the Santa Claus voice, but that's the attitude that we as landlord receive in court. I had court judges, district judges, shushing me with their finger or on their mouth. I had court judges stopping me, answering a question that they asked me, putting their hand in the air, like telling me to sit down or to be quiet. You almost have no ability to express yourself as a landlord against a tenant in many of the district
courts.
And
the judges are full of themselves. Remember, we had Judge Ed Levine here. The guy's the nicest guy ever.
The nicest guy ever.
Right.
And he presented how much the law can be a guidance for a judge.
Right.
And that was the most annoying thing, that you hear how much for a judge. The law is a guidance. And you see outside, for how many judges, the law is not a guidance.
No, the judge just does whatever they want. And they're in a bad mood. They just rule against you because they're in a bad mood.
Exactly.
That's happened to me a couple of times.
It's so bad.
In cases.
They don't want to listen.
Right. And they're not just lonely tenant cases. I'm talking about other cases where judges just do whatever they want because they think they're,
above the law.
Yeah,
Let's say
exactly.
that. Above the law.
They are the law, is what they think they are. And it's so I actually learned, I finally realized that I don't care what the judge says. I don't care what a judge says. If a judge is yelling at me and telling me to shush, no, Your Honor, I need to tell you this story. And if he doesn't listen to me, then I'm going to go to the Judicial Conduct Board, which is what Ed Levine told us to do.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, Your Honor, I need to tell you the story and finish the story. If
that
not,
I tried to tell
not,
on district and
right,
nobody wanted to
right.
hear.
And if not, I'm going to go to the Judicial Justice Board and I'm going to find out, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to make a complaint against this. Please just listen. Make a decision based on the facts, not on your emotions.
Exactly.
And we need to talk back to judges.
I agree.
Because judges aren't all what they say they are.
I agree.
They aren't all that S.
I agree. Don't use the other word.
I won't.
Okay.
I know how to do this.
Good.
I've done this for a while.
So that's exactly. I'm starting an appeal right now.
I've heard.
And
I think you shouldn't.
I know you. I know you think you should. Sometimes we want to believe there is justice in this world.
So
we want to because we have kids and we want to believe that this world is going to be better, not worse.
You got to pick your fights.
I agree. Now don't be my father.
No, but the funny part was when I say that, and I'm suing the tax collector.
Yeah.
And I say that, but there's no time to tell that story again.
No.
But I will tell that story again, probably in a couple of weeks. The tax.
I want an update on this story.
There's no the update is just lots of paperwork going back and forth. I'm costing the town thousands and thousands of dollars because they won't simply go to the tax collector and say, write this guy an apology. That's all I have to do. Write me a check for now, which was originally $80. It's now $800 in lawyers' fees. I want not lawyers' fees, the court fees, because I don't have a lawyer. He does. I want them to write me a check for $800 and give me an apology. If not, I'm suing them for $50,000.
Good.
Because that's what I can, and I don't care if I win or lose. What do I care? I don't need the $800. I didn't need the $80. I wanted this guy who did something wrong, and I can't. There's not enough time to tell you guys the story, but who did something wrong. To simply apologize and say, yes, I should not have treated you that way. And you were there because you had it on video, which is the best.
He cost you more, I think, because of the price it cost to install the window.
Cameras, yeah, right.
The
All
cameras.
Anyway, we have 30 seconds left, so I got to say goodbye. I want to thank you all for listening. Don't forget to go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class for this Thursday. That's investorschooling.com. I really want to thank John Cole for being here this morning, for taking good care of us. And I heard Susan is listening to the radio. She's our whatever representative at PHT. Thank you for reminding me at 9:00 last night that we have to be on the show at 10. See you guys on Thursday. Take care.
Bye.
This program is paid for by
Clear.
all